Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to A Dash of Colors, your go to self help podcast. I know it's been a while, but welcome back. I am your host, Mimi, and today we are diving deep into a topic that affects everybody. I feel like everyone at some point have had to deal with this particular topic, and it is how to deal with overwhelming thoughts. We've all been there, feeling like we're stuck in a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. But this is something that is common for everybody. So I have experienced this because I've experienced the rock bottom. And I know how it feels like when you have all of these thoughts in your head. I'm still not very good at dealing with obsessive thoughts. Thankfully, I have people around me that I reach out to. But these are practical things that you could do to help you navigate all these emotions. First, remember that you're not alone whenever you're feeling overwhelmed. It's natural. It's something that comes with being human. Our minds are so powerful, incredibly powerful. And sometimes they can be very loud, too loud for us. But we don't have to let our thoughts control us. And then there are practical things that we can do to make sure that we're in control of the kind of thoughts that goes through our heads and through our minds. And the first one is acknowledge and accept what you feel. It is very important to recognize when you're feeling overwhelmed and accept that it's okay to feel this particular way. We often make things worse by judging ourselves for having these thoughts in the first place. Instead of being self-critical about how you feel, instead practice self-compassion. Remind yourself that being overwhelmed is just a temporal state and it doesn't define you. This is very important because sometimes in the process of feeling overwhelmed, there are all of these thoughts of inadequacies going on through your mind. There's this thought of how you're not good enough and how you're a failure and how you are a loser. It's very important to remember that these are just emotions and emotions are fleeting. You could sleep and wake up and then you feel a lot better. So it's very okay to accept the fact that you're just feeling overwhelmed. So maybe just treat it like that. A normal thing, a normal emotion that comes and goes. Step 2, breathe. Breathe, guys. When these thoughts start racing, when all of these things are going through your head, take a moment and pause. Breathing is one of the difficult things that you could ever ask any person to do because it's like asking someone to take it slow. And we as human beings struggle with slowing down at the pace at which we look at life. So it is something that you can practice. Breathing calms every part of your body. It calms your nerves, it calms your thoughts, it calms your nervous system, and it brings you back to the present moment. So you could if those thoughts begin to feel like they are overpowering, they're killing you gradually, breathe, pause, take a break, okay? Make sure that you take a break. It's very important to pause when all of these thoughts are trooping into you. Okay, another thing that I usually do when I start feeling overwhelmed is journaling. And while this is not everybody's favorite, it is one of the things that I got acquainted to that really helped me deal with my traumatic experiences in the past. Now, you could grab a pen and paper and start talking about your thoughts. Write about your thoughts. Write about how you're feeling. Try not to be judgmental in whatever you write. Just write exactly how it makes you feel, right? Writing down can help you understand what's bothering you and gain some clarity. It's also very important because sometimes when we're obsessing over a particular problem or a particular situation, sometimes there's no real problem. But because of how the mind is, it presents so many thoughts of so many things, and then it begins to look like they're outweighing how much of yourself you can stand. But it's very important to remember that journaling will provide clarity in the sense that when you write, you're trying to find exactly why you're feeling that particular way. And most times when you pick up a pen and a paper and you want to journal, you realize that all those emotions that you feel, all those things that are making you feel a particular way are probably just in your head. Step 4, identify what is triggering how you feel. Examine what these thoughts are. What triggered them? Is it something that happens all the time? Does it have a particular pattern? Now, it's very important to understand what triggers your overwhelming thoughts so that you could deal with it, so that you could address it, so that you can better understand your emotions and your feelings. Identifying the triggers can help you develop a coping mechanism for those specific situations. Sometimes, understanding the root cause is the first step towards finding a solution. So why am I feeling this way? Why do I always feel like I'm not good enough? Why do I always feel like everything is happening to me and that life is happening to me? You need to actually ask yourself why or what is responsible for making me feel like this. Sometimes when I become very obsessive with my thoughts, it's usually because I try to compare myself with somebody else. I see someone who's doing way better in their career, someone who has a way better job, earns way better money, and then I become very self-critical about myself, and then before I know it, I have all of these thoughts and I'm judging my process, judging everything that I'm doing. So sometimes I try to stay away from things that remind me that I am still on a part of life that isn't so clear yet to me. So I try to avoid social media. I don't watch people's lives and what people do with their lives. I could just read about random stuff, but I try not to get myself triggered by how perfect everybody portrays their life to be. So this is one of my triggers. So you have to identify what exactly is responsible for making you feel that particular way. And when you've done that, the next step is to challenge the feelings. Now, our minds tend to magnify. When I say magnify, I mean blow it out of proportion. It tends to make our problems look very big. And then these challenges may not actually be as much as the mind is making it look. So you have to ask yourself if your thoughts are based on facts or you're just making assumptions. Are they just in your head, or these are things that are present? The things that you're obsessing about, is this something that is factual or something that you are thinking could happen? Okay, so when you challenge these negative thoughts, replace the negative thoughts with a more, balanced and rationalized view about how exactly you're feeling. Now, another thing you could do is practice mindfulness. I talked about this in my previous episode, and I've always said that it is very important for people to learn to be in the present. It is one of the difficult things that you could say to someone when someone is complaining about their future, how they're not sure of what they want to do and all of that. And then when you say things like, it doesn't matter, just do what you're doing right now. They look at you and then they might not say it to you, but in their heads, they feel like you have no idea what you're saying. You have no idea what you're doing with yourself. Why would you tell me to not obsess over the future? But then that is the thing, right? I have learned to live in my present, to enjoy my present. It is not rosy, it is not as perfect as I want it to be, but it is peaceful. So I try to enjoy the present. I try not to obsess about what could happen, what could be, what could have been. I try to remain in the present. Where are you right now? What exactly is happening right now? What exactly do you want to enjoy right now? Okay. Now, when you've done step 1 to 6 rather, the next step that you could explore is to reach out for support. See, I am one of those people that I have learned how to be on my own. I have mastered the art of figuring my life by myself. But then recently, I have learned also to be open to the people that I care and love. And this has made dealing with obsessive thoughts easier when you have someone who is saying, this is not how it is, this is not what it is. Like the person points you to the reality, especially when your mind is presenting you with so many irrational thoughts. Okay, so you have to remember that you don't have to go through all your problems alone. You can reach out to friends, family, or a support group to share your feelings. Sometimes talking about what's on your mind can provide instant relief to whatever thing that you have going on in your thoughts. Now, step 8, focus on what you can control. Because the truth is, there are so many things happening in our lives that are out of control. There's so many things in our lives that we cannot possibly be in control of. And it's fine. It's natural. It's the way the world is. So just focus on the things that you have under control. Okay? It's very important to hold on to what you have. Very important. You have to shift your focus to what you can influence and take proactive steps in those areas. Don't try to reach out too far for something that is way above wherever you are in life. Try to stick around things that you have direct influence over. It makes our mind a lot calmer, when you're not obsessing over some big role that you've taken up. Okay, now I think the next thing that I would suggest for someone who is feeling overwhelmed is practice self-care. For me, self-care comes in form of skincare and podcasting because I don't get to upload all my podcasts anyway. I randomly record things about myself, and it's a way to talk about myself, talk to myself when I feel overwhelmed and all of that. I just get to share with the audience with certain things that I feel like they would want to hear. But there are plenty of things that I record every day that I just keep it to myself because sometimes it's just me trying to have a conversation with myself. So you have to prioritize your self-care, right? You have to ensure that you're getting enough sleep, that you're eating well, that you're drinking water, and that you're engaging in activities that bring you joy. Don't be stuck on sad songs every single day. Do something else. Go paintball. Go something. Have fun. Now, when you've done step 1 to 9 and it seems like it's still overwhelming, I think you should seek for professional help because sometimes it could be an indication of something deeper. So it's always best to speak to someone who understands your emotions, someone who understands you. And by someone, I mean like a professional, a therapist, not your friends. Okay? So there you have it, my lovely listeners. 10 powerful strategies to deal with overwhelming thoughts. Remember, it is okay to have these feelings, but it's equally essential to take care of yourself and find healthier ways to cope. Before we wrap up today's episode, I want to remind you that self-help is a journey and it's okay to take one step at a time. Be patient and compassionate with yourself. If you enjoyed today's podcast, don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends and family who might find it helpful. Stay tuned for more episodes of Dash of Colors where we explore various topics aimed at enriching your life and bringing you plenty positivity as much as we can. Signing off now, this is Mimi sending you love, light, and courage to overcome all overwhelming thoughts you have right now. Until next time.